All right, good day and welcome to today's edition of Political Spectrum, coming to you live from Uyo, the state's capital. I am your host, Onumese Hinoma Olusegun. Our conversations continue on political and economic developments around us. On President Tinubu's administration's calendar, today, exactly 81 days of President Bola Tinubu in office as the president, and gradually moving to his first days in office. Before we go into today's program, I'd like to use the opportunity to quickly apologize to all of my audience that are watching us. We had the time. All right, let's go into the business of today. Let us begin on a very high and hopeful note from the presidency, as some of the few expectations of Nigerians are beginning to materialize. Cleared for appointment by the state of the National Assembly, the Senate. Appointment Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, surprisingly. Other portfolios as released by the President of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, also named by President Tinubu, and Ministers of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani. Minister of State Environment and Ecological Management, Ishak Salako, Blue Economy, Bumi Tunji. Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu. Minister of State, Health and Social Welfare, Tunisia Alausa. Minister of Adegboyega Oyetola. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Anite. Now, Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Naji. Minister of State Labor and Employment in Kiruka, Onye Jocha. Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy. Minister of Works, David Umwahi. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamu. And Minister of Youth, Abubakar Momo. Others are Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu. Minister of State Gas Resources, Ekberikpo Ekbo. Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokbobri. Minister of Sports Development, John N. On Monday, the Director Information Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, said the ministers could attend the ceremony with 2 guests each. The General Secretary, Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Lumumba Okugbowa, said there was nothing wrong with the president occupying the position of a petroleum minister. He said all the ministers report to the president so far, so for him to hold the position of petroleum minister doesn't really matter much. What we should demand is for him to perform. A ministerial retreat for the ministers will take place before the swearing-in ceremony, hopefully. Crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism. We sincerely hope for the best as the critical assignments towards nation building commences immensely. I do not think there's any excuse any further for the presidency and the current administration. Now, moving to responsibility for crashed aircraft propaganda, and they are promising to probe the accident. Now, the Nigerian Air Force, NAF, has said that it will investigate why its M117-1 helicopter crashed at Chukuba village in the Shiroro local government area of Niger State on Tuesday. The ill-fated aircraft was said to be heading to Kaduna State on a casualty rescue mission when unfortunate incidents happened on Monday. Now, Director of Public Relations and Information of the Force, Air Commodore Edward Gapwet, said the aircraft crashed in a village in Shiroro local government area of Niger. And now the Nigerian Air Force, in a fresh statement issued on Wednesday by its Director of Public Relations and Information, described a viral video in which... Now the statement reads, and I quote, "The attention of the Nigerian Air Force has been drawn to a video circulating on social media platforms allegedly depicting the wreckage of the crashed Mi-170. While it is not in the character of the Nigerian Air Force to respond to such claims, particularly one all military organizations involved in counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism operations, incidences of fatalities, mishaps, and crashes are sometimes inevitable. For the NAF, the last 8 years has seen an increased level of air operations in efforts at checkmating the nefarious activities of terrorists and criminal elements in the country." Abubakar said this much when he hosted Governor Umar Bago of Niger State on the 15th of August 2023 at his office, where he noted that the rates of aircraft accidents and incidences are directly proportional to the heightened level of air operations. Now, while the Nigerian Air Force regret from unraveling the probable cause of the crash with a view to drawing lessons for those aiding and abetting the propaganda tendencies of terrorists deliberately or inadvertently by spreading the videos of the alleged crash sites with government personnel as well as on Nigerian national security is imperative. Now, for the Nigerian Air Force and indeed the entire members of the armed forces, we are determined more than ever before to take on the enemy frontally until they are brought to their knees. Our common enemies, the NAF wishes to appreciate the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, GCFR, for his message of condolence and words of encouragement. Our appreciation will also go to other well-meaning Nigerians for, and possibly part of our discussion today, Naira records marginal gains. I guess this is quite on a positive note for Nigerians. Now, the Naira gained marginally against the United States dollar at the unauthorized market on Fola Shodun Shonubi. Now, according to information gathered from currency traders across the country, the dollar exchanged against the local unit at 900 and 925 as against 935 to 950 range it traded on Monday. Now, traders who spoke with me allayed fears amongst the black market traders who claim that the government plans to address the country's. But meanwhile, on Wednesday, reports said the dollars crashed to 910 at the parallel market amid uncertainty over the intervention efforts to stabilize the market. Now, the sharp gain in the exchange rate of the local currency became evident after Mr. Shonubi disclosed that Mr. Tinubu is worried about the rising exchange rate of the Naira to the dollar. He explained that the plans and strategy to curb the crashing Naira on the black market, share with you, still quoting Shonubi, means that sooner rather than later, the speculation should be careful because we believe the things the CBN governor said while briefing journalists after the meeting at the State House, Abuja, 3 months ago, amidst efforts to unify market rates, Nigeria allowed the value of the Naira to drop rate and that of the parallel market. Last Friday, the Naira hit an all-time low of about 950 to 2 days amidst forex scarcity and soaring demands. All right, we will go on a short break. Thereafter, we'll come back for...
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police.
I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the...
We can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding you, your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord. I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
All right, welcome and many thanks for staying tuned. This is Political Spectrum on Spectrum Television. And real quick, we're going to our conversations today. Let me quickly introduce our special guest all the way from Asaba, Delta State, Comrade Victor Oj. Comrade Victor Oj is Senior Special Assistant to the Executive Governor of Delta State on civil society matters and non-government organizations Affairs. I greet you, Comrade Victor Oj. How are you doing? Vibrant civil society person.
Yes.
Nice
the
to have you.
government of Delta State, fortunately this time they had to put round pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes.
That's correct.
Based on your capacity.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, good news. Good news. We'll go straight into the discussion. You can see that finally the portfolios of ministerial nominees have now been attached to each ministerial nominee. The ministries are more defined. Of course, we know that ministries, departments, and agencies are the outfit for that deepen national development and also by extension deepen democracy. What do you make of all this? I want my producer to show the first slide. This time, I do not think any non-indigene of Abuja residents or around the north at the most has been minister of the FCT. But here we have Nyesom Wike being the minister of the FCT, a non-indigene from that area being a minister.
From the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man who looks at capacity. If you go back to history, you will find out that Bola Ahmed Tinubu doesn't care where you come from. All he wants to know is your capacity. He doesn't care your tribe. As a governor, so Bola Ahmed Tinubu has always had this track record of working with men and women that has capacity. And the person of Nyesom Wike has the capacity to meet up with the expectations of him being the FCT minister by way of infrastructural development. If you take a look at where he's coming from, you will see very strong-willed politician. He's a man, he's a leader. He knows what he wants. He's a go-getter. When it comes to coordinating the security agencies, you can see his performance while he was addressing the issue of oil theft at Port Harcourt, River State. So I'm not surprised that Bola Ahmed Tinubu made him the FCT minister, because he knows that he's going to coordinate the FCT very well. And he's also going to make sure that there is peace and tranquility among the range to perform very well. I have confidence in his performance.
Okay. You were not with us that period when we tried to, I think it was Mr. Jide Ojo, suggested that probably Umahi or Wike may end up with the portfolio of the Ministry of Works. So I guess time has proven him creditably well when it comes to critical infrastructure, critical infrastructure of state, and we expect that he will be able to drive with such an energy also in Abuja. But hindrance for him at the smooth sail of delivering this responsibility as FCT minister, do you think that will be a problem?
No, it's not going to be a problem. But in all, if you put 10 bad things on the ground, you must choose one or two from it.
True.
So Wike still has his good side, he has his negative side. So I don't think Wike not being an indigene of the FCT would derail him from doing what he's supposed to do as the minister of FCT. Coordinate with parastatals, MDAs as a governor. You can see his antecedents, where he's coming from. So I believe he's going to duplicate whatever he has done at River State, at the state. If you take note, he partnered with Julius Berger. And any governor that has the capacity to partner with Julius Berger shows that the person has the governor has the willpower to work for his people. Because Julius Berger, any services that are substandard, and they have proven this over the years, their track record. So let us see how it goes. I believe that Wike is going to perform very well as the FCT minister, irrespective of the fact that he's not an indigene of the FCT.
All right. Yamu bagged the portfolio of Minister for Aviation. Did you see that coming?
The truth there is that But at some point, he derailed. And even here in Delta State, nobody believes in him because his impact as the former minister was not felt by the people of Delta State. Even from his region, amongst his people, it's just his political connections in Abuja, FCT, that is pushing him forward. If he contests for any position, even the councillor, Professor Skiamu is not going to win this day because Deltans don't believe in him. He lacks capacity, I must say this.
Okay, when you say we are, you're talking about citizens residing in Delta.
Yeah, no reference point here in Delta State, no impact. Nobody believes in him. Nobody believes in Professor Skiamu here in Delta State at the last batch, which was not supposed to be so. We all know the role he played during the campaign for dropped just for him to replace Okotete.
So you think,
and of course, both of them come from the same.
So you Okotete's security report that Professor Skiamu was quickly added to the ministerial list.
Unpopular for good in Delta State. Both of them, they are unpopular for. I mean, they are not close to the people. Stella Okotete is known as a bully. That's how they see her, that she's a bully. Professor Skiamu has no close relationship. And you know, before the people will give you their support or their votes, they must see your antecedents that you care about their life, their health, care, everything about them. When you care about the people, you have no choice that the people will always they will nominate now amongst the people of Delta State because they lack good track record of being close to the people.
That will eventually either drive or make development in this administration. Let's quickly take a look at them. Wale Edun becomes Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. You know, the important come out from that ministry eventually defines a lot of economic factors, including GDP growth, expansion, long CV. But what do you think about that personality for Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy?
The fact remains that when you talk about economy, look, in fact, the positions entirely, if you look at the list, there are a lot of ministers that has question mark in terms of their roles, in terms of allegations of corrupt practices. Anyway, so if you want me to, if I should say something, contribute to this, I would advise that the president should have a think tank when it comes to the economy. I'm talking about professionals. Not times when you allow politicians to take the front seat, they end up not delivering to the people. If you look at NDDC, for instance, you will see that it is because the politicians have always taken the front seat as against technocrats that the front seat is taken by professionals. Let the professionals be the ones to head these positions. Or alternatively, create think tank for every sector that will not be political, that will be focused on the people's interest, how to elevate the socio-economic aspect of people's life, thinking of how to have more localized industries that will start exportation of goods and services. Because we are talking about the Naira on a free fall. How can we end that Naira free fall? We need to go more into production, exportation of goods. As the Naira to be strong, to have strength, we need to focus on exportation. The president has done well with setting up power plants for their people. We need to start focusing on that aspect. Renewable energy means.
That is very correct.
So
yeah, can you hear me?
We need to focus on power generation so that businesses, it can attract investors to Nigeria. We need to focus on security, that businesses will have guarantee that their businesses here will be secured. That is how the Minister for the Economy can thrive. If not, we are not heading anywhere.
Okay, I quite agree with you. And if you have taken time to look at the pedigree and the CV and the antecedents, especially career-wise of Mr. Wale Edun, you will know that he probably impact on the economic parameters of the nation. But away from that, you just mentioned energy and you mentioned a lot of other things We are looking at Mr. Dele Alake here. Recall that Dele Alake started as special advisor on, I think, information or thereabout, and then he was promoted to minister. But right now, the portfolio is Minister of Solid Minerals and Development. A lot of people argue that that ministry for solid minerals and development have been seriously lagging behind over the years. Successive past administrations have not really exploited and explored the opportunities of those ministries and harness all the potentials. But what would you say regarding the person manning this ministry, and what do you expect in the, in the nearest future?
Is that we have foreign interferences.
Okay.
We already know the role of the French government. We know the role of the British government and the United States government with respect to our solid minerals. We all know that most of this terrorism going on in the country is being sponsored by state actors in collaboration with foreign governments. That is why you see during the election, did you notice that the role of Boko Haram reduced, terrorism reduced? Now, after election, they have come out again. You will now see that it's political. If you can recall some years ago, you remember during the era of Jonathan, just before President Buhari came on board, and we saw how they were treating these terrorists with kid glove. And many people don't know that it is because of the solid minerals in the northern part of Nigeria. That is why we are having a lot of unrest and banditry, and nothing will happen with the solid mineral. You will hear stories of airplanes landing inside the Sambisa forest, even in Zamfara, to carry solid minerals and fly out of the country. And nothing has been done about it. The government pretends as if they are helpless. So not until we check the security aspects, the role of from there in Delta State. You see the allegation from the DSS, they have evidences that he funded terrorism. So you can't take that away. So not until we do our homework, nothing good can happen in Nigeria. Nothing good with respect to our economy, with respect to solid minerals, with respect to oil and gas theft. The state actors has always played a key role, giving room for all this exploitation of our national resources by the state actors and foreign government. Even Chinese government has a role to play in Zamfara and other northern states.
Fact check, so long as Emefiele is concerned, I think majority of the issues leveled against him are still at the level of allegations. Dates of hearings will be announced. But yes, you touched on some very vital issues. Whether you bring an angel from heaven to come and head the Ministry of Solid Minerals and what have you, we will continue to have issues so long as we are not directly in control. But within that same ministry, we understand that over the decades, you could remember Alaja Steel, you can remember Delta Steel, a lot of things that ordinarily would have been able to put together our... So are you saying that you are not confident of this administration being assigned there? Let's look at the overall intentions of this administration. Are you saying you do not have as much confidence that that ministry will move forward? Because there is a lot...
One of the challenges we have in Nigeria is that we focus so much on liquid minerals in the south of Nigeria, whereas the number of solid minerals in the northern part of the country, not only that there was some persons were mining gold and even selling to the CBN. The CBN was buying gold for some state government. And we already know that the gold is on the exclusive list. Yet, some state actors were in conspiracy with the CBN selling. The people say that he's a godfather. Yes, there's godfather in every business. There's godfather in every church. There's even godfather in heaven, in all sectors. Even in the media, there's godfatherism. Our focus is, can these people, Bola Ahmed Tinubu deliver? Yes, he can deliver, but that is a bad sign for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But persons like Yeso Wike, David Umahi, Betta Idu, that has good track record, areas that those who have questionable characters, but were nominated by their people, by their state, because these ministers normally come from the party, from the state.
That is
normally
correct.
Nominate them from the state. You see? So that Ahmed Tinubu is kind of helpless there in that aspect. Every parastatal should have a think tank. This solid mineral, he should have a think tank alternative group that will work alongside the minister to guide and drive him, to coordinate
Quickly, before we go away from the conversations, from administration to administration, it was terrible under His Excellency Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. It became worse. 7 or 8 months, we heard that thousands of people have been killed and injured, and people have been displaced from their houses due to the issue of coming out from the old one. So insecurity is a major problem in our society. It has affected the FISA, who will be coordinating information, security informations, for the executive to be able to strategize on. We a lot is expected from the new expectations now that your minister that will be driving it for God knows the next months or weeks. Or
the question to ask ourselves: what has the federal government of Nigeria, what have they done to social aspect of tank? No. What have you done with respect to the welfare of the people? He says the primary aim of Obasanjo is to blame for the social aspect of crime control. In 1978, that would have taken care of the social aspect of crime control. What did President Obasanjo do? He did not approve it. The minority, that is why even Finland has closed their prison. A lot of countries in Europe no longer have prison. Why? Nobody has the WAS program. What is the Bank of Industry doing? Do you know that there are a lot of benefits from the government of protecting the poor citizens' rights? Do you know if you take any case to let the Human Rights Commission, even when the federal government funds it, the leadership of the National Human Rights Commission, what have the federal government done for national orientation agencies that should have had a lot of radio program jingles educating the mass rights, on educating them? Look at the Southeast, look at the insecurity there. Propaganda will come on social media. Instead of the misinformation or fake information or disinformation, they are not doing their job. The government is now pretending as if they are helpless. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to check this aspect, because if you that has the mandate, the duty to educate and enlighten our people, focus on how we can have programs that invest it into a business or an idea. After 5 years, you pay the same capital that you borrowed from the. It's not a rocket science. Tell me how many billboards you have in Nigeria that says if you have any information, Facebook account, to give the federal government or state government information. People will have information to give to the government on activity, criminal activities of some citizens, or they will come after your life. The government should create means, anonymous means that people can use to give information to the government. But the government are not ready to do that. Even when they allocate money from disbursement of all these funds and making sure that it is used for the purpose of which it was allocated, people are hungry in Nigeria, and a hungry man is an angry man, and it's only a hungry man that you can involve.
Points you have raised. Insecurity is caused by a lot of factors, and one of the major ones and that's why a lot of people are happy that, okay, since the inception of this current administration, there's not been ministers that will drive all these initiatives, and we are hoping that these issues you have raised should be managed properly now that we have people manning those ministries. So let's try and give this administration some time. For me, is the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Recall that ministry in the past administration goes like, how do you account for monies that were used to rehabilitate people who have been robbed and displaced? All those kind of questions came in. But now it is doctors. All the issues of internally displaced persons, issues of people suffering from serious social ills and all that. How do you see?
Initially, I pointed at Betta Edu because I know her. I know her man who is square peg in square hole. I believe in her capacity, but I will also advise her to work closely with NGOs and civil societies. Don't forget the fact that there are still some corrupt NGOs. That is where Betta Edu, the Minister of Humanitarian, should partner with the EFCC and ICPC and other security agencies, NFIU, that has mandate of monitoring funds, financial crimes, such that by the time civil societies and NGOs are aware that the financial crime control units work properly, she should partner with various civil societies and NGOs at various state level so that they can move.
All right, we'll go on a short break. We'll be speaking to Comrade Victor Oj, right from the capital city of Asaba. We'll go on a short break. Thereafter, we'll continue on some other...
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a much more. Advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Nigerian police force, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my
this
lord.
an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll...
Us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Many thanks for staying tuned. This is Political Spectrum on Spectrum Television. And I still have virtually with me from Asaba, Mr. Victor, Comrade or Honorable Victor Oj, a vibrant member of civil society and a public affairs analyst. All right, we've been having conversation back and forth on the state of the nation. We just discussed about the plethora of portfolios assigned to the nominees, and we hope that they use that opportunity to contribute to nation building. All right, quickly moving on, we have another report that talks about the NNPCL securing $3 billion loan from Afrexim Bank, Export-Import Bank facility to ease Naira demand pressure. Now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and Afrexim Bank have jointly signed a commitment letter and term sheet for an emergence of 3 billion crude oil repayment loan. A statement by the NNPCL said the signing took place Wednesday at the bank's headquarters in Cairo, Egypt. The facility will provide some immediate disbursement that will enable NNPCL Limited to support the federal government in its ongoing fiscal and monetary policy reforms aimed at stabilizing the exchange rate market. The loan is also expected to help stabilize the foreign exchange market, enable authorities to meet forex demand and improve the value of the Nigerian currency. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, had in June announced the unification of all segments of the forex exchange FX markets as part of efforts to engender transparency in the markets and boost investor confidence. All right, we also read not too long ago that Naira appreciated a little against the dollar. And we hope that these signs will continue in a positive state. Comrade Victor, I want you to quickly speak to the sharp Naira gain. Is that hope, or do we try to be a little bit more patient and not be carried away? It may be a positive trend. What do you think?
The reason why there was a little gain was because of the commitment, the statement made by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, giving hope, and the CBN acting governor also confirmed the efforts of the president. That was why you saw that little difference. Imagine. Look, I have said it before. If you want Nigerian currency to gain strength, to be strong in the market, let us start exportation of goods and services. Let us start copying the Dangote group. The moment we have more companies, individuals, citizens, businesses that start exporting, our Naira will have more gain. That is the only solution as against political statements.
But
so if we want the
exporting
to grow,
Comrade, are you there? Are you there?
Let us focus on exportation.
Exporting
now,
goods and services.
Borrowing,
are you there?
Borrowing from the Afrexim Bank. Look, you are borrowing. Do you have a payment plan? You are telling me about the borrowing plan of the NNPC from the Afrexim Bank. Tell me about the payment plan. There's no payment plan. Tell them if there will be accountability of that money they borrowed.
Probably.
If they are going to carry every Nigerian, every step, they will make it a public matter. If they withdraw $1 million, they will post it. We just withdrew $1 million. We want to use it for this. Look, not until every transaction is made a public matter that every Nigerian will see how the money is being used on a daily basis. Everybody will have access to go and checkmate to confirm whatever they saw from the news of NNPC websites. That is the only time that this country can be fixed with respect to borrowing. It is good to take loan. It is good to borrow money. But why are you borrowing the money? Are you going to be transparent? Will you be accountable? Will there be accountability? You borrow to build infrastructures. You borrow to fix your health system. You borrow to invest. It is good to a country that doesn't borrow. Nobody has it all. It is good to encourage borrowing because borrowing helps the economy to grow. But when you see that Nigerians complain about our government going to borrow like doing because they believe that when they borrow the money, they just share, no payment plan. Look at the Paris Fund that we have been benefiting through the Vice Chairman, State Committee on Environment, Senator Ned Nwoko, to foreign governments. And he went to track it and started bringing the money back to Nigeria instrumentally since the era of President Obasanjo. Do you know that money would have lost and we will not even have any record that We have billions of...
Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Okay, I'd wanted to add to it. You have raised, some other issues, very vital issues regarding the economy. The CBN currently, a lot of people have criticized that President Tinubu removed Emefiele, and Emefiele has been in custody. They've released financial statements that has not been released for 7 years under Emefiele. And the financial statements read very clearly that there are issues, there are serious economic issues, yet staff emoluments, staff benefits continue to rise. That's the only thing that rose in that statement. Is that not hope for us that at least there is, for the first time in about 7-8 years, do you not see that as a marker towards positive direction of the nation? All the activities happening in CBN.
Look.
So why?
The CBN regulates the duties that the custom charges when you import cars. And currently, the duties, the policies, the tax for you importing a car is high. Most of the CBN policies is anti-people. Let the CBN acting governor look, they need to readjust those fees. Do you know that some people import cars and they cannot clear it? And by the end of the day, they impound those cars because of the levies you pay to clear your car. It's expensive. I think that they should engage with civil society and NGOs on their policies. Let there be a review in collaboration with the civil societies and NGOs so that we will know we are the people with the grassroots. We are the ones that will tell them, no, this amount to clear this guy is much. Why not make it this way?
Okay, but
the CBN start from there.
There are so many other issues. There are so many.
Nigerians be happy that the CBN has reviewed import duties placed on them.
Of the CBN.
Yes.
My question is.
That's why I said they need to be reviewed.
My question is that the presidency currently has appointed someone to audit the accounts of the CBN and is ailing even our Federal Reserve of 38 billion or thereabout. 40% or 45% of it is borrowed money. For the first time, there is searchlight on the CBN. People can now see that, okay, these are the issues. Those things that a lot of things were hidden under Emefiele are now being revealed. That you know what the issues are by exposing it to the public to say, okay, for the past 8 years, these are the terrible things that have been happening. These are the, the deficits, and these are the little amount of money we have in terms of financial assets and all that. Don't you think it's a good start? For 7 years, Emefiele never released a financial statement.
The banking sector, the banking industry is one of the most corrupt sectors. Banks, various banks, they deduct a lot of money from people's accounts, customers' accounts that they are not supposed to deduct. Do you know that banks violate? So the president should increase the scope, they should expand the scope, not just to CBN but to banks. There's a lot of fraud going on by various banks, and nobody is saying anything about it. Look, if you talk about auditing, we'll be hearing about auditing. Look, people need to be held accountable. Let the president go after those people that collected the subsidy money. The subsidy. Look, there is no political willpower to address this corruption in the financial industry or the financial sector. This is just eye service. If the president wants us to know, yes, you want to deal with these corrupt practices in the banking industry, the banking sector, and the CBN, let many people start going to jail. MDs of various banks should go to jail because they have committed a lot of fraud going on in many banks, from violating the rights of their customers, deducting little money. That when you collect that money from 2 million or 5 million customers, do you know how much it turns to? Even it's only FIRS that has the right to deduct some tax from people's account, but you see banks deducting it on behalf of the FIRS. And when you hold them accountable, the CBN will come to the law court and tell you that they were not the ones who told the bank to deduct that money from your account. Then before you know it, the court is going to find the bank money to compensate you. for violating your right. That is just one among millions of Nigerians that get laws. And how many Nigerians knows their rights in the banking industry? And when it's violated, what do they do?
Okay.
So the government, the federal government should do more than the CBN.
Okay, but it's a nice place to start because the CBN is the banker of all banks. I quite agree with you. Now, as we wrap up, hope is what keeps us alive. Okay, amidst all the issues, insecurity, deteriorating health services, deteriorating economy, no manufacturing, agriculture, on a dwindle, the naira losing value every day. As an advisor to this current administration, as we wrap up, what do you think the administration should start with first that will, at least cushion the hardship of Nigerians amongst all those myriads of issues that need urgent attention as we wrap up?
Look, the primary aim of government is welfare and security. The government should focus on the welfare of its citizens. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had a plan, but the plan was too poor. 8,000 naira is nothing. If you check about the subsidy, how many billion, 4 billion that they normally deduct for subsidy dollars every month, that money should be shared among Nigerians. And I don't think East Nigeria will be getting 8,000 naira. The government, you have reduced. Look, that is the way you should start from. The welfare of your people first. People are hungry. There's even food insecurity. The River Niger should be dredged because the overflowing, each time the Cameroon government opens their dam, it destroys livestock, it destroys lives, it destroys our road infrastructure, both in the northern and southern part of Nigeria. The president should look for ways, a means to go and dredge that River Niger so that we can cushion the effect of this annual flooding that affects our people, that violate people's rights, kills people, people get drowned, even while on their bed. River Niger overflows and comes to their house to kill. They start from there. The welfare and the dredging of the River Niger. Because if they should do that, they have solved one problem for Nigerians. The annual overflooding that kills people, and come and start destroying it. So the government should start from there. The welfare of the people. The welfare of the people. 8,000 naira is nothing. The government can do more. President Obasanjo did not favor this country with him not approving the minority constitution that was prepared by the late Bala Usman and the Dr. Shego Oshoba in the 1978-79. If he had approved it, by now we would have evolved. Look at Europe. Look at most Europe countries. Their citizens, they have a lot of benefits. Even Nigerian people that cross border to Italy, they normally have benefits. You go to France, you have a lot of benefits. You have 3 kids, the government pay each of your child. Look, Nigerian government can do it. We should stop pretending as if we are helpless. Nigeria is blessed. Nigeria is the most blessed country in the world when you talk about minerals.
All right, comrade. I quite agree with you. And I think that minority constitution you mentioned, I probably will have to do some research about it because you seem to believe so much in that constitution, even as far back as when it was put together. I believe a lot of things have changed since then. Economic, technology, a lot of things, a lot of structures may have changed. So if you believe so much in it, probably I'll communicate with you. I can't remember the report by this very notable man recently that Goodluck was just about to start to look at before his administration left office. There was a report. The name of the guy just eluded me now. Very, very comprehensive. I think close about all the differences and the variations of the Nigerian state. I think it's Oronsaye report or thereabout. I think that is a more recent report that deals with a lot of issues bordering on resource control, federating units and many other things. But I'll look for that, your report. It's a nice way to, it is a very, very nice place to leave our conversation. Thank you very much. We've been speaking to Comrade Victor Ojay, Senior Special Assistant to the Executive Governor of Delta State on Civil Society and NGO affairs. Thank you so much. And I wish you well for the rest of the day and beyond. Our hope is that the next time we'll call on you, we will also add our own little efforts to nation building. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, this is where we end today's program of Political Spectrum. It's been an exciting one. We will continue to monitor, to not only share them with you or update it, we'll also be bringing resource persons to have conversations and perspectives for and against, you know, on all these issues. Until the next episode, I want to ask you to stay very healthy and take care of yourself. I remain yours sincerely, Onumese Ehinoma Olusegun. Remember to follow us on X at spectrumtv.ng. Have a great day.